We are going back to the 90s and looking ahead to Christmas. Two treats from our next guest, Marissa Stapley, who wrote the New York Times bestseller, and Reese's book club pick Lucky, joins us now with her two new works. And let's get started on the lightning bottles, because I was reading this book and I'm like, oh, there's so much that I remember from the 90s grunge scene.
Yes, oh, absolutely. And I mean, so do I. That was, I was 14 when Kurt Cobain died. This was such an important era to me, and so getting to revisit it with the lightning bottles was a lot of fun. But of course, there's some complexity and darkness to that era, and the lightning bottles is really my way of trying to rewrite history and the way I would have wanted things to go.
Right, because it's a fictional couple.
Yes.
And then there's a mystery involved in it as well.
Yeah, so the mystery is, Elijah Hart goes missing at the height of the lightning bottles fame. And the mystery is, what happened to him, but also what happened to them. It's a mystery, it's a love story, it's a road trip, and it's just, it's all of those things at once. And I always say it's the book of my heart. It's the book I always really wanted to be able to write, and I'm so glad that I did.
Well, I loved when I was reading it. I'm like, oh, I remember this in another happening with a real life couple.
Yes.
But yeah, and it took me back so much for that.
Yes.
Okay, now let's look ahead to Christmas.
Yes.
Because you've written the holiday honeymoon switch under a pen name.
Yes.
And this is your first Christmas book that you've done on your own. You've collaborated before.
I have, yes. So last year I had 3 Holidays and a Wedding out with Esma Jalaluddin. A couple years before that I did The Holiday Swap and All I Want for Christmas. So this is actually my 4th holiday rom-com. To me, doing these in addition to my regular stream it's kind of a palate cleanser. I go to some complex dark places sometimes, and then to just be able to go, okay, now we have a story, we know there's going to be a happy ending. It's not necessarily going to be straightforward because that would be boring, and as I was saying to you before our chat, Emily Henry, amazing rom-com writer, has said you can go to dark places, you can go anywhere you want with these books, teach your readers something, but we have a pact, we're going to have a happy ending. And with these holiday books, it's going to be on Christmas morning probably, and it's or
at a Christmas tree farm, or at a remote holiday,
right? Or in this case, in Hawaii and in the Hudson Valley.
Yes,
so,
and writing under a different name, although you're very open that you're writing under a different name. Does that give you more freedom as well?
I mean, I say it. Julia McKay has kind of taken on. She's got her own personality. I have a friend who was like, somehow the birthday October 19th popped up in my phone as Julia's birthday. And I'm like, okay, she's a Libra. Like it's kind of, it's fun to, as a creative
and that's your pen
person,
name. Julia McKay is your pen name. Yeah.
To have that different, almost personality, as maybe odd as that sounds, is really fun for me. But I think it's really freeing to just sit down in front of the computer and say, okay, we know where we're going. We know that it's going to be happy and make people feel good. It's a real relief, again, after the complexity of a book like The Lightning Bottle.
And it's a real escape. And there is such a huge market right now for rom-com books, holiday rom-coms.
Yes, and I love seeing that. I mean, I came of age also as a young woman in the Bridget Jones era, and I love that. I loved those books. But I find that books for women, women's fiction, at the time was called chick lit, not taken as seriously, and I don't love that. Like I think, as women, we love rom-coms, we love romance. It shouldn't just be kind of sidelined as a guilty pleasure. Like these books are a true pleasure, and they're also smart. I'm writing smart novels. I know so many.
And I appreciate that as a reader, right? Because I did find it a smart rom-com.
Right, and it's important. I mean, Chantel Gertan, who's on here all the time, she writes smart rom-coms, and it's just, I'm just so honored and thrilled to be a part of that community. And there is a huge market for it for a very good reason. And women make up like 75% of readers anyway. So
read for what you want.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, Marissa, great to have you and to finally meet you in person. I've read so many of your books, and I'm just kind of fangirling here. So,
my gosh,
so
thank you so much.
So The Lightning Bottles and by Marissa Stapley, and The Holiday Honeymoon Switch by Julia McKay.
That's right.
Also Marissa.
Thank you.
Out now.